Rob Key, then, Managing Director of England Cricket. The biggest concern or criticism, if that's the right word, is his lack of administrative experience. Let's hear from Michael Atherton, speaking on Sky Sports News on exactly that subject.
What he doesn't have is the kind of managerial experience, if you like. This is a managerial type job, and he doesn't have that experience because he went into commentary and punditry after his career finished. So he will pick up that experience. I mean, that lack of experience didn't hinder Andrew Strauss in the past, and it didn't inoculate Ashley Giles from the difficulties. Giles had a lot of management experience with Warwickshire and Lancashire and had done an academic degree in sporting directorship. So there's no guarantee whether you've got the experience or not, whether you're going to make a success of the job. You never quite know.
He's knowledgeable. He's extremely enthusiastic. We'll hear later on from Nasser Hussain, who reminds us that, Mark Butcher, actually, who says that he has a healthy dose of cynicism. He's a man that you know very, very well. Surely it's his knowledge of cricket, the game, everything it stands for, and most of all, his passion. He can delegate the bookwork and the administration, can't he? And he could get a good team of people around him, and he could be absolutely brilliant.
I think he will be brilliant, Manners, and I'm biased. I'm always going to say he's going to be brilliant. The one thing, the biggest thing that he's got, the biggest trait he's got, when people say, he acts a fool, the biggest thing he doesn't suffer fools. And I think the problem the ECB have had over the course of the last 5 or 6 years is the clowns that say the right things, but have got no substance behind them. The one thing Keezy will do, he'll have substance behind him, because he's the most loyal man I've ever met. If you've ever want to, we work in a professional environment, sports, that not many teammates you call as somebody you want to your close friends or somebody that you can trust with your life. I trust Keezy with mine because of what he's done for me and what he's gone through with me, and he's helped me through a lot. So I'm biased, but I think this guy will do it properly, will do it right, and I think he'll do it successfully, because if the ECB allow him to make decisions, and like you say, he can palm the paperwork off onto good people who he will trust to do the job for him and do the right things for him, and he is there to make decisions, then I think England are onto a good thing. I really do. I feel sorry for Ashley Giles because of the 2 years COVID that he had to go through, but I don't think Ashley Giles helped himself with some of the decisions he made, which is remove the selection panel, give everything to Chris Silverwood. I didn't think that served well. So I think that might change. And when people say about his inexperience, well, Ashley Giles had managing directorship twice at 2 different counties, director of cricket at 2 different counties in Warwickshire and Lancashire. He went on a 3-year course, a sports management course, I think, at Manchester University. And that didn't work. So why can't Keezy come out straight out the commentary box and say, right, the basic things we need, we'll get right from the start and we'll build from there. And I've got no doubt that's what he'll look to do.
Okay, you're talking about the ECB and Rob Key as if they're in different camps. They are now, of course, one and the same thing. So hopefully he will allow himself to make the decisions that he thinks are in the best interest of England cricket. I said we'd hear from Mark Butcher and get his thoughts.
The fact that England got rid of the chief selector, and got rid of that job in its entirety and handed the whole lot on to poor old Chris Silverwood before was absolute nonsense. Everybody said so at the time, in particular myself. I was very vociferous about how that just was going to end in tears. It's ended in tears, and so they're going to need to reinstate somebody in that role. And then I think that person is going to have to say, okay, well, we need to pick a team for now, because this nonsense about trying to pick for 4 years in the lead up is terrible. They took a team to the West Indies, which was almost experimental, and I'm like, listen, we don't win in the West Indies. I was in the last team that won down there in 2004, and the team that won before them is 1968. And they took a team down there that, as far as I was concerned, had no chance of winning, and they didn't win. And so the bleeding continued, and you lose your captain because of it.
Yeah,
so you've got to start thinking about do we have any hardened individuals, sort of guys who are perhaps in their early 30s, late 20s, as I was when I came back into an England team under Nasser saying in 2001, and people who are going to not be pushed around are going to make England a difficult team to beat, and then you build from there. Getting rid of your star players and leaving out people like Broad and Anderson when you're a team that struggles to win is just madness to me.
Yeah.
And I think Rob, but Rob might see it differently.
Well, you
And
bend his
the
ear.
great thing about the great thing about Rob, of course, is that he has a very, very healthy dose of cynicism. He's not he's not a sort of a blazer and badge wearing ECB type by any means.
That was Mark Butcher speaking on the Johnny Owen and Friends show on Talk Sport. Just a final word then on Butch, where he talks about picking a team to win England games now. Fancy that. What a thing.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's so simple. It is so simple. You've got a game coming on the 2nd of June, and can we pick the best 11 players to win that game, please? And I think that's what England have got to get back to doing. And hopefully Keezy can put in a structure in place, selection that have been watching these round of county championship games all the way up until the 2nd of June. The coaching team who can basically instill some belief and some steel into the players, because we've seen some good things happen in the West Indies, but we've seen some soft things as usual come to the fore right at the very end when the pressure and the business time was on. I look at the squad that went to the West Indies and it was a joke. And when you're talking about pick a team to win a test match, well, the one thing that England have always been, up until probably COVID, has been very, very good and very successful at home. And then that's what we've got to get back to. We've got to get back to winning cricket matches at home. Keezy's got some big decisions to make, but he's also got some structural things he needs to put in place. We've got some fantastic young players building in this country. And now we've got to find a way, once we come out of COVID, of getting the under-19s going overseas tours. The National Academy and A tours going on overseas tours. Young players going out of their comfort zone in the winter, learning how to play cricket in different countries. And that will make the England cricket team better, but also a bigger pool of players when we go and try and get away from home. But at the minute, we need to pick 11 players to win at home on the 2nd of June against New Zealand.